We're going to join this source where it's talking about these various rabbis and their personalities and their best traits and even their strategies for taking on the evil inclination. I highly recommend you read the entire source, but I'm going to pick it up in a certain spot, and I'll tell you why. Rabbi Joshua ben Hananiah, though not of the same high standard as Rabbi Eleazar, who was a saintly person, almost superhuman, nevertheless was made of the kind of raw material that is the envy of all mothers. He was possessed of balanced attributes, positive powers that enable one to achieve one's perfection. His slogan, select or be a good companion or friend, matches this characteristic. Now, this slogan, select or be a good companion or friend, this is Heber. This is the name. It means companion or friend, but Heber is the name that both Moses and Jethro share. So they both have 7 names, and actually one of them is the same. They share a name. And it is Heber, companion and friend. It ensures continuity and intensification of one's good traits. So being a good friend and selecting good friends, you'll grow exponentially. The third disciple, Rabbi Shimon ben Nathaniel, though not naturally as well endowed as his colleagues, nevertheless had trained himself to become a God-fearing individual, had acquired the tools to counter the Yetzer Hara successfully, and his prescription for a successful path in life matches his own experience when he tells us that a person needs to consider the consequences of all his actions. Now, even though he wasn't necessarily as blessed naturally as these others, he came up with a plan that worked. Whenever one is in the grip of temptation by the evil inclination or the Yetzer Hara, one should consider the ultimate and inevitable result of succumbing. So go right to the end, the worst case scenario, the Yetzer Hara gets the better of you. What are the consequences and the result of this? His dictum is similar to the statement, consider the wages of sin compared to the loss incurred by committing a transgression. The opposite, of course, is he who borrows without making repayment, since borrowing from God is essentially no different than borrowing from man. Rabbi Yossi, who was termed a chassid, a devout, pious individual, concentrated on his relations with his fellow man, always acting in a manner that transcended the requirements of justice. So he went beyond the letter of the law when it came to his friends and his relations with his fellow man, who are brothers and sisters. Therefore, his recipe for successful life is to attach oneself to good neighbors, to fellow human beings that cherish such ideas, and thereby reinforce one's own beliefs and standards. Rabbi Eleazar ben Arak supplies a 5th venue designed to confront the Yetzer Hara successfully. Instead of passively absorbing foreign ideas, he is a bubbling well. He dynamically and actively espouses Torah viewpoints and nullifies evil influences. Interesting. So instead of passively just taking on these foreign ideas, he is like a bubbling well in that he espouses Torah viewpoints. So he's always hitting people with Torah so that nothing sticks to him. His specific recipe, namely to cultivate a good heart, leads to one's being sincere in one's conduct vis-a-vis Hashem. Conversely, of course, an evil heart, insincerity, would spoil everything. In the opinion quoted in Avot at first, Rabbi Yochanan is reported as preferring a quality that comes with birth, i.e. the attribute of total recall, possessed by Rabbi Eliezer ben Hyrcanus. Later, according to Abba Shaul, he changed his mind and concluded that a good heart, i.e. an acquired trait, was the superior one. So he's arguing to acquire a trait is greater than being born with natural ability. Man is made in such a way that his spirit can conquer his flesh. A combination of brain and good character is an unbeatable combination and can overcome all difficulties.